Well, here we are. It's just past 9 o'clock. Hopefully you can all hear me. Could you do me a favor? Just drop me a quick thumbs up for those of you who know my number, just to make sure you can hear me, because Michelle usually does this, and I'm not really. I'm a little bit of a technophobe, so drop me a text to let me know that you can hear me, please. That'd be great. So welcome to the call, 9 o'clock. It's Wednesday night, and I'm not getting any thumbs up, so I'm hoping you can hear me. Come on, girls. Thumbs up. Can you hear me? Aha, great. Thanks, Christy. Good deal. All right, here we are, 9 o'clock. Okay, well, that thumbs up. You're not supposed to send me a kick. You're supposed to send me a thumbs up. But I'll take it. Hey, I'll take it. Great. Thank you very much, guys. Good. I'm glad you can hear me. As I say, 9 o'clock Wednesday night. Thank you so much for getting on the call. Give yourself a little pat on the back. Congratulate yourself for taking out a little time to learn a little bit more about this wonderful business that we're involved in. And we have a fantastic guest tonight, he has a few hidden secrets that I know hidden up his sleeve somewhere, and I'm going to get to those tonight. So I was saying just before the call started, if there's some people you think should be on this call, drop them a text and have them come on. This gentleman, I believe, and I'll have him confirm it, I believe he got to national consultant faster than anybody else in this business. So if you think there's someone who should be on this call to have a listen to this particular gentleman, as I say, drop them a text, let them know the dial-in number and the code, which is on the EC Riders Facebook page, and have them come on the call. But purpose of this call is very much, it's different. We have a Sunday night call as well, which is very, very specific, a very, very specific training call to get you set up for your week, giving you structure in your business. But this call that we do during the week, we try to bring on some guests from other teams, from other areas in the business, so you can get some a broader perspective of how people run their businesses. And whilst it's an opportunity to hear someone's story and this type of thing, if there's a training opportunity in there as well, I'll definitely take that opportunity to point that out to you chaps. And also I will be recording the call and posting it up on the EC Riders Facebook page so you can have a listen to it afterwards. Or if you know of any folks who couldn't actually get on to the call, but needed to, you think will get some good value out of this, then you can send them to EC Riders and get them on the call. Now, I'm actually going to see if I can I've got to find a number here because I've got to unmute our guest tonight. Let me see where you are. Excuse me, as I say, I'm working the board and doing the call. So I think, where are we? Yeah, let's just pull that up again. Bear with me, chaps. I appreciate your patience. Okay, where are we? I've got way too many windows open. Do you guys all do that when you're using your computer? Have way too many windows open. I'm worried that if I close the window, I'll forget what I was doing and I will never open it up again. So, okay, I think we're almost here. There it is. Okay, so we've got the number right here, 875. There we go. Yep, I've got your number there, Mark. All right, so let me unmute you. Okay, I think that's it. So I think you're unmuted, so I'm going to introduce you to our audience tonight. We've got a lot of people on the call. I think we are, and we've got people from all over the country. Thanks very much, guys, for getting on the call. Our guest tonight I knew would be very popular. So this particular gentleman, I have actually been on a 5-star trip with him, but we actually didn't get any time to spend any time together. I'm sure everybody was grabbing his time. I was sitting in the corner lonely as a baby EC while everybody was hovering around him, plugging in for information. And plus, he's a lot better looking than I am. He certainly has a much better head of hair than I do. So I'm sure that's the main reason why he was being grabbing everybody over to him. But this particular gentleman came on the scene I'd been in the business a few years, and I heard this gentleman had got into the business, and then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, he was getting a yellow jacket and getting himself promoted to NC in the business. I'm like, where did this guy come from? And he's now renowned throughout the country. He's got a very prevalent Facebook page. He now has offices throughout the country and internationally as well. And I'm very much looking forward to, as I say, getting some pretty poignant questions here. So I'd like to bring onto the call national consultant, and yellow jacket wearer, Mark Guerra. Are you there, Mark?
Yes, I am, Richard. Thank you so much for having me on the call.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad I got the technology worked out as well. I managed to find how to unmute you and get you on the call. So thank you again for getting on the call. As I say, we've never really had a chance to get to chat. So this is kind of like my first chat with you, and we've got like 100 people listening into our conversation. So we're going to get to know each other while another 100 people are also going to listen in. So again, thanks very much for getting on the call. I really, really do appreciate it. And why don't we start? I know most people on this call are going to know who you are, but I would be really interested to kind of find out the Mark before Ambit and kind of what led you to Ambit. Before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty, into the juicy details, would you mind just sharing a little bit about your life prior to Ambit, what you did, and then how you kind of were drawn towards Ambit, please?
Sure. I owned several businesses. When I was introduced to Ambit, I was looking for residual income, and I actually started my first business in the 11th grade, and I had owned, I think, about almost 20 companies by the time that Ambit found me, and I had still not found what I was looking for. Most of my businesses were real estate related. I had rental properties, and then I got into condos and apartments, and I had finally built my own hotel that I owned because I wanted that residual income. But what I found was it was just a lot of work. People didn't pay the rent. They tore up the house. They disappeared in the middle of the night. It was a full-time job. Even finally after several failures in different businesses and things, when I got the hotel, I thought I finally made it. And it was just even more stress, headaches, people stealing, holding up, people holding up the hotel. And it's just, you don't think about all these things until you have them. But it wasn't what I wanted. I still hadn't found what I wanted. And thankfully, I had other business also. I had 5 businesses at the same time when a gentleman named Ralph Nakosha asked me to go to lunch with him. And I met him at a networking business networking group called BNI, and I had a limousine company, the Hummer limos and party buses, and I was told that I should join that group to network with other business owners. And he was one of the gentlemen there, and he asked me to go eat lunch, and he asked me that question, how many people do you know that use electricity? And I thought it was a dumb question at the time, and but I didn't want to say anything. He was an older gentleman, and I was like, everybody. And he said, exactly, if I can show you a way that every time somebody clicks on a light switch, you get paid, direct deposit into your bank account every single month, would that be something you might be interested in? And, that's how it started. He picked me up and took me to a business presentation that evening. And I saw, I'd looked at other networking companies. Of course, everybody always brings them to you, but I've never been in a network marketing company. I didn't like network marketing. I'd never been in any of them. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to sell products to people that don't need them or want them for more than you can buy them most of the time at Walmart anyway. So I just didn't want to do that. But I heard 2 things that caught my attention. There was passive residual income and a 100% recession-proof business. And in 2008 and 9, I lost over $1 million in my new home construction company when the bank stopped lending and they couldn't pay me. So I saw something here, once you lose that type of money, you say it's never going to happen again. So I saw something that was recession-proof, and that's what I was looking for. So it just kind of matched up, and I did what my sponsor told me. I plugged into he said, go to every single training you can possibly go to, and I did that. And, because of that, my life has changed forever. And it's not just the money, because, of course, we've made a lot of money, my wife and I, in the business, but it's about all the people that we've been able to help and to change their lives, starting with our family, even though my brother hung up on me, and most of my family all told me no. They all said no to me. But after a year in the business, my first full year in the business, they saw the type of money that Ambit was paying me on a part-time basis, and they started to come in the business, and I was able to help my brother retire in 11 months as an EC, and my parents in 6.5 months as ECs. And it was my parents' residual income was in 7 months more than her 20-year pension for working at Allstate. So it's just life-changing for our entire family, my uncles, and it's just now we just pay it forward, and we try to help as many people as we can, try to stay humble, remember where we came from, remember the people that helped us, and we love Ambit Energy, we love people, and now I love network marketing.
Isn't that fascinating? Because like you, I've been a business owner. I've had a couple of restaurants and traditional businesses just like you, and there's this ego that's attached to those, because it's got bricks and mortar. And I'm sure when you owned your hotel, you look at it and you think, that's mine. It's something you can kind of put your arms around, and it feels like it's something that's going to take care of you. But as you quite rightly said, it's amazing. In my restaurants, people stealing from you. I never got held up. I don't know what was going on there, but we never got held up. But we did have situations where employees were stealing from us, or someone didn't turn up, or the health inspector came round, and and you have everybody says, oh wow, you're a restaurant owner, or like in your case, you build houses, or you have a hotel, and people think that is incredible. That's really, and it is. It's great. But, for me, a lot of people know my story, that my Ambit business out-earns my restaurants, and it was a $75 investment. Well, for us, it was $429 back in the day, but it's a $75 investment that's out-earning these bricks-and-mortar businesses that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to start. And good for that guy for suggesting you take a look. I'm sure he's very happy that he did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's thank you for sharing that. That's really good. And again, for those of you who are listening, who sometimes look at business owners and think they wouldn't be interested in an Ambit business because it doesn't have all of that ego stuff that goes with traditional business. You got, two business. Mark's doing much better than me in this business, but there's two business owners on the call right now who both love this business more than anything we've ever had. Sure, it's not perfect, but for me, it's the best model I've had. I don't know if it's the same for you, Mark. When you compare your business models, the simplicity of this model compared to traditional business, I don't know what your thoughts are as far as that's concerned.
Oh, I will never go back. That's why I said I love network marketing. Whenever they shared this with me, I was working. I owned 5 businesses, but I was working 6-7 days a week.
Right.
And I was working, 10 hours a day. It was crazy. And sometimes you don't even make money. And like you said, people look at people that own, all these restaurants, hotels, different things, and they think they're, super rich and they live their dreams and the greatest life. But I know a lot of people that own businesses, and I'm telling you, 99% of them are stressed out and they work too much and they don't have a life. And that was me. And because of Ambit, I was able to, within 14 months of joining the business, start shutting down all these businesses. And within about 2 years, I had shut everything down. My wife and I were able to become executives in 14 months. And our first full year in the business, we made over 6 figures. And I'm telling you, I had never started a business before where we had made 6 figures in the first year or 2 years. Profit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of course, you make money, but you pay it all back into the business. So
yeah.
I love this model a lot better, and it does give us an advantage because when we look and talk to other business owners, we know they can't trick us. We don't look at someone that owns Subways and say, "Man, this guy, he's probably never going to want to look at anything else." They're the ones that look at everything else. That's why they own 5 different franchises, because they're still looking for that opportunity. And I'm telling you, I was talking to a guy, and his parents own like 5 Subways, and he said only one of them makes money, and the guy works 7 days a week. So when you meet these business owners, I feel sorry for them, and I feel like we have something that we can share with them to help them get what they're really looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, Mark, when you think, of yourself 5 years ago, that you would be talking about a network marketing, well, not 5 years, let's say more like 7 or 8 years ago, for me, 10 years ago, when I kind of was very against network marketing, would you think you'd be saying this about network marketing now? It blows my mind, because, I did Amway and failed at that. I did Herbalife, failed at that. I couldn't make it work. I loved the model. The leverage model is amazing. Being able to get these people without having to pay a salary, but we just had to sell all those expensive products. Have you ever done any network marketing before?
No, I never had because they were products. And even services, I would never do them because I didn't believe in it. But whenever I heard that it was a utility that you can't live without, and we're going to make money not one time, but every month as they all pay their energy bills, I mean, that for me, I'm a business person, and when you talk to a real entrepreneur business person, I mean, they're either going to get it or they're not. But if they do, and they have that mindset like we do, they're going to go all the way. You know, you just got to show them, you know, that this is the greatest opportunity, you know, and it's not going to be here forever, but it's going to be here for a while. And for those of us that are taking advantage of it now, I mean, it's literally not just changing our lives, but it's going to change generations, you know, and it's huge.
I know that we got senior consultant Christy Mack on the call, and I was helping her with a three-way call one time, and she was dealing with a business guy, young guy who had 6 businesses, and he was kind of a little bit, you know, I'm too good for this ambit thing. And I asked him the question. I said, you got all of these businesses. I said, are any of them passive? And he said, well, explain what passive is. And I explained what passive was. He said, no. And I said, all right, what happens if the economy does anything? If the economy takes a dip or takes a major dip, are any of your companies safe, the ones that you have? And he said, no, and none of his businesses were. And he was a straight guy. And I said, well, this is why you need to look at something like an ambit business. You know, is it's totally recession-proof and it's a residual-based income, just like you're talking about. And again, I'm kind of saying this and emphasizing this point because so many folks are worried about asking a business owner. Trust me, there are business owners out there that are gagging. They don't know it, but they're gagging for a business like this. And once they see it and get it because you showed them, and it doesn't matter to them, by the way, if you're a $12 an hour employee, it doesn't matter. They will see the business for what it is. Right, Mark?
Exactly. When Ralph Nakosha showed me this business, he was a senior consultant in the business. So, because a lot of people were like, oh, well, you're an executive or you're a national, so you're going to get everyone to join. You just hit it on the head right there because we're business owners. We don't care who brings us the opportunity. We're going to look at it, and if it makes sense, we're going to do it. So, you know, don't be scared to talk to business owners.
All right, so let me ask. Thank you for that. That's awesome. And again, I went on a little bit for that, but it's important, you know, to talk about for those folks that are worried about talking to business owners. Don't worry. Just show us. We'll like it or we won't. But if we do, you've got a real champion in your team. Let me ask you this, Mark, and I'm kind of interested to hear this from you because obviously you came into the business without any network marketing experience. When you came in, you're a brand new MC, you just signed up, you've got your C number up on the screen, and you're thinking, okay, now I'm going to run the business. And I know you were told to go to all the trainings and this type of thing, but we've got a lot of new people on the call. I mean, we've got a lot from around the country, and a lot of them are new, brand new. What did you do as an MC? When you first got started, how did you get your business going? And what sort of mistakes did you make that you wish you hadn't made?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it sounds kind of silly, but I did what my sponsor told me, which was the basics. He told me I had to become a customer, you know, and I did that. I think I actually had a contract, and I broke my contract. I became my first customer. I called my parents, and I asked them to do me a favor and try the service, and they said yes, and they're still my customer, and they've had free energy for over 5 years. So that's how I triggered my first $100. I became my customer, asked one person to do me a favor and try it out, and they did that. And then I called one person and had him come to a business presentation, and I didn't say a word because Ralph told me just bring me people that want to make money and don't say nothing. And I didn't know anything, so I couldn't say anything. So I just brought him to a presentation. He picked me up and took me to a presentation, and I thought that's the only way to do it. I thought that's what you had to do. So I just picked him up, brought him to the presentation. He watched it. At the end, I didn't say a word. Ralph talked to him. The guy joined the business. And I don't even remember what happened after that. I didn't even go to another meeting for 13 or 14 days, and I had a check in the mail. And that's what made it real for me. You know, it was not a lot of money, but it was the fact that this company that I was still skeptical about, I mean, it made sense, but I was still skeptical. But once they paid me, it just something clicked. You know, I was like, man, this is real. They actually paid me money, and I don't feel like I even did anything. maybe this will work. Maybe this will work.
No question.
And yeah.
Well, I know you'll have had checks much bigger than that. I know I sold a business in 2004, and it was, we sold for 7 figures. We've had, I've had real success. But that first $100 check I got, it's exactly what you're saying. It's like, oh my gosh, this is real. And then again, it just makes it real. And all you need to do is just rinse and repeat. And that's obviously what you did. You're saying, so when you started as an MC, all you did was you just dumbed it down and just copied what your sponsor told you to do. You didn't do anything different. You just did what he told you to do, and that is got to be the most important thing. And I'm sure in all of your trainings, it's all about the ability to duplicate the really, really, really simple stuff, right?
Yeah, and I'll share a few other things that I was kind of upset about that he did, and I didn't understand it, but now I do, because I was like, why? I would call him up, and I would ask him a question, and he would say, I don't care what the question was. He would always say the same thing. He'd be like, I'm not really sure, but there's a number you can call. Do you have a paper and pen with you? Let me give you this number. And he would give me the number. This is a true story. He would give me the number to consultant support. And the first time I actually thought he didn't know. And, I called consultant support. They answered my question. And then I called him again, like a few days later. I asked him something else. I'm not. I could probably tell you, but I don't want to give you the wrong, just in case I'm wrong. Do you have a pen and paper? Let me give you this number. I'm not even kidding. He did this so much that at the end I was like, you know what? Hilarious. I looked at my wife and like, this guy's lying to me. This guy, there's no way he can't know this stuff. Why doesn't he want to help me? And another thing he never did was he never walked me and showed me Power Zone. Like, he never showed me how to use every little thing and spend hours teaching me how to do Power Zone, and I felt like he wasn't doing his job, by doing that. But now, years later, I'm like, oh my God, that's what you want to do. You want to duplicate. You want other people to be able to do this on their own without you having to hold their hand. And by him telling me to call consultant support, I stopped calling him. And anytime I had a question, I called consultant support. And he probably loves it. And now I do that. I don't want to waste a lot of time either.
And I know how frustrating that must be. My situation was my sponsor wasn't around, so I had no choice. And so just like you're talking about, I went to every training, every business presentation, and I would just ask questions. Richard and Miriam Wade, I'll be asking Jared Abshire. I just Adam and Michelle Carey when they were in the business. I was constantly just asking, and you just learn by pure osmosis. For those, again, of you who are out there who maybe have upline that are not around or not particularly proactive, just show up to the meetings, show up to the presentations, show up to whatever it is. We have team dinners down here that are not even any kind of training. They're just a social thing. Show up to those. You'll get all the training you need from someone you're sitting next to, and you'll get everything you need. I can promise you that. So, yeah, good stuff, Mark. Let's kind of move on a little bit. We're at 9:25. So, okay, so you came in as an MC, you're a good boy, you did everything you needed to do, you duplicated perfectly, and then I guess once you became a leader, you started your new folks, and probably still do, exactly the same way?
Yeah, I didn't do everything perfectly. No, I don't think anybody does. I did mess up, regret things that I told people. I think I could have been more educated. I think I should have listened more, got more training than what I did, because I didn't do it all perfectly at the beginning. He did tell me to go to a bunch of trainings. I thought he was crazy, at that time. I'm like, this guy's a fanatic. What, you want me to drive all the way to Dallas and go to some ambition thing? Are you out of your mind? Who does that? You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and then now I kick myself. But, I did go, to that one. But, yeah, I should have got more training. I feel like if I was a little more skilled, I'd be able to have helped some of those people at the beginning. There's really no one doing anything on my marketing level. Because I think I just didn't really do it the right way. I didn't know what I needed to do. But I figured it out, and I think what helped me a lot was, of course, Ralph and Ann, my sponsors. They really did. I joke around about it, but they helped me a lot. They always have been there for me. So that's a huge advantage. We were also very close to the Clear Lake Training Center with Chris and Debbie, which is a big center. So I think that was another big advantage that we had, to be able to be plugged in with a bunch of leaders, like you said, and everybody would help no matter whose team you're on. And we didn't know any better or any different. We thought that's how all of Ambit was, because that's where we went to the meetings every week and we got our trainings, and that's what we were taught. You help everyone. It doesn't matter whose team they're on and things like that. But the real reason I think that we've been able to be, very successful in our business is because I screwed it up at the beginning, because I wasn't 100% in belief yet, But once I figured out that you could make money, I started to treat it like a business. And that's really the secret to it. So I don't want to cheat anybody and not tell them and say, yeah, just show the plan, and things like that. I'm very upfront with people. I tell them exactly like it is. I really don't care what anybody else thinks about it. And if you do, then you won't be successful in this business. So I'm honest with everybody when I meet with them. I tell them it's going to be difficult, but I tell them that they have a support team that's going to be here to help them when they do have their down times, when they're not doing good, when people tell them no, when they hang up on them, So we tell them like it is straight up from the beginning, and I'm always like that with anybody. If someone asks me something, I'm going to tell them, how it is, because they're going to find out anyways. So if you're not honest and upfront with everybody, then it's not going to work. What I realized was that you could make money in this business, and it did take me a while, and I like I said, I screwed up my marketing because I didn't know anything. I just was trying to put people in. But once I found out it was real, I did start to treat it like a business. And if you don't treat your business, your Ambit business, like a business, then you really won't be able to be as successful as some of the top earners. And I had that advantage because I was a business owner. So when I had questions about what to do, I would just ask myself, what would I do at my hotel? What would I do in my construction company? And I would let that answer my questions. Once I started treating it like a business, then I was able to have a lot more success. But I had to have that belief level. And that's what I realized. People would join your business, they would quit, they would get discouraged, they wouldn't answer your calls, and I needed to find out how to fix that. What could we do to fix those problems? Because that's what I was good at. Everybody has different qualities. I work well under stress, and I like problems, and I like to find out what's going on, how can we fix it, how can we make it better, how can we avoid this? And that's what I started to kind of do with how I was treating the business myself and what I could do better. And I figured we figured a lot of stuff out, and I think we found a real good way to do it. And it turns out that most of it was like 99% of Ambit's proven system. But you just it's so crazy. But you just have to throw in the treating it like a business part. I made a room in my house, my office, and then eventually I made I had a 2-car garage, and I converted one of the garages into my Ambit office. Because that's what you do. If you're in a business, you have to have an office. You have to have somewhere to meet people. That's in my mind. That's what I thought. You have to do this. You have to treat it like a real business. And when I made that office, I thought, if you're going to open a business, any business, you have to have business hours. You know what I'm saying? And that was just me thinking. I don't know anything. I'm a business owner, so you got to have business hours. So I set my business hours, and I'd wake up, I'd get dressed up in dress clothes, black slacks and everything, and I'd go to the garage, and my kids are like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "I'm going to work." Because you got to treat it like that, even though it was they're like, "Dad," they'd all laugh at me, and they said, "You're going to the garage, Dad," and I was like, "That's my business, that's what I got to do, when I'm not at my other job, So, I treat it like a business. I made if you don't have the funds to do that, just separate a room in your house, make it your Ambit office and work out of there. Set your times, because if you open a business, even if it's a bakery, and you don't tell anybody what time it's going to be open, do you think that people are going to come to your bakery? They're going to come a couple of times, and if you're not open, they're not going to ever come back again. And if we treat our Ambit business like that, we'll hit and miss, make a few dollars here and there, but you're not going to make big money unless you have the business hours so people know where to go. And they have to have somewhere to go. If they don't have anywhere to go, then they're not going to go. They're not going to go to work, So I'm big. Yes, I know you're gonna ask eventually about offices and things like that, and like I said, you don't have to have all that, but at least set your times that your people know when you're gonna be working your business, when they can contact you, where they can meet you to do trainings to build your business, and that's what I started to do. And there's of course a lot more things involved, but I started to see huge success. I had lines of people waiting outside my house. I had so many people that I had to convert the second garage into a waiting room for the people to wait that wanted to watch the video. Actually, they wanted, because I thought I was smarter, so I was just doing one-on-ones with everybody. And then I went on a 5-star trip, and somebody told me that that's not how you do it, and it's not duplicatable, that you have to play the video. So I bought 50-inch screen TVs, put them in the walls, and then I'd play the video. And then I'd answer questions at the end. So, I just had to learn, and grow and do it like that. But when I treated it like a business, that's when I started to see it exploding, because when I meet with somebody, like a new consultant, that's the most important part right there. Like right when you meet with your brand new consultant for the first time to see if they're going to partner up with you in this business, that's when everything depends on that first day and that second day. So I always ask them, how many hours are you willing to invest in your business? And I write it down, because when you write stuff down in front of them, it makes it like they're committing to it. It makes it real, because, I have a folder. I write down, okay, so you're going to put in 8 hours a week, to build your business. And then I ask them, what days? Are you going to do 8 hours in one day? Or are you going to do 4 hours one day, 4 hours another day? And then I ask them, okay, okay, so you're going to do 4 hours on Monday and 4 hours on Saturday? Okay, great. Okay, look, what I need you to do is we need to meet every week. So on that Monday that you're going to work your 4 hours, I want you to come by my office. We're going to sit down. We're going to game plan. We're going to set your goals. We're going to do this and that. And then on Saturday, you're going to work from home, but I want you to call me. What time are you going to start? At 9? Okay, great. I need you to call me at 9 o'clock on the dot. My time's valuable, so please don't call me at 9:01. I need you to call me at 9. And then when you call me, we're going to go over what you did that week, what worked, what didn't work, what we need to do next, and then I'll give you some assignments so you can work for the rest of those hours. So anyway, that's it, just kind of how I treat, the business. I treat it like a business, and I'm telling you, if you treat your business like a business, you'll make money like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, you'll make money like a hobby, and most hobbies don't make money.
We have a call on Sunday nights, which we call the Purge Call. It's all about basically, there's very little Ambit system training. It's all about the structure of setting up your week and allocating the time to it. And we talk about, if you have to treat your Ambit business with the same respect as you treat your job. And the analogy that we use is, I think the number in Ambit is like about 85% of people quit Ambit across the business. It could even be higher than that, I'm not sure. But way, way, way too high. And yet if you asked everybody in the Ambit team, the 400,000 or 500,000 consultants we have, how many of them graduated high school, you could pretty much say every hand would go up. How many of them can have held a job for a year or 2 years or whatever? Pretty much every hand will go up. And running a traditional job or certainly going to school, when you look at everything you did for 12 years at school, maths, physics, chemistry, biology, Spanish lessons, and it got harder and harder and harder and harder each year, and yet everybody graduated. And yet 85% of people quit Ambit. So what is it? And exactly like you're saying, it's show up to work. All you had to do at school, you didn't have to be valedictorian. You just had to show up, and you'll pass and graduate. It's exactly the same thing in Ambit. Show up. Now, if you show up and work harder, you'll have more success. But at least if you show up to work and do the basics that you're supposed to be doing and be accountable to your upline like you're asking your guys to be, you will just have success. Everybody had success in school. Everybody will have success in Ambit. It's just showing up. And so often, one of those 85% that quit for whatever reason, it wasn't for any other reason. They had all the skills. They had the right upline. They had right everything. They just didn't show up to work. They just didn't give it the same respect as they gave their job. And so I completely agree with everything you've just said there. And I think you put it so eloquently. And I've been scribbling notes while you've been saying this because there's a lot of really, really good stuff in there. Thank you very much for that. So here's the next question. And I promised everyone I would ask you this question. My first question is, are you the fastest guy to get to national consultant in Ambit?
I believe I am. I believe I am. I thought there was one other person that said it, but I looked it up, and actually we were faster by a few months.
Okay.
So
I promised everybody.
Yeah.
I promised everybody I would ask, and I know it's a big, big, big question, and you can kind of summarize. But and I'm not going to cuss here, but how did you do that? How do you get to NC in 3 years, dude? You took you 14 months to get to EC, and then in the same time again, you bring another 5 ECs into your business. Dude, how do you do that?
I mean, it all boils down to treating it like a business and understanding people, because we're in the people business. And you know, I mean, if you knew what we do in our offices, in our weekly board meetings that we have, you know, in all our different locations, I mean, it's so much stuff to go into detail of everything. But we really do treat it like a business. And I know that there's other people that might look at it, and I think someone commented on one post, and like reminds me of back when I had a job, you know, and they'll make comments like that. But they're not wearing yellow jackets, and they're not in the top 50 or the top 10. So you got to look back and say, you know, maybe the people that are doing something, you know, and are getting these know what they're doing, you know.
Sure.
You have to understand that the difference between somebody that doesn't make any money in our business and the difference between somebody that makes a lot of money in our business is it all boils down to one word, and that word is skills. That's the secret, because we have all the same pay, we have all the same presentations, we have all the same everything. I mean, everybody's on a level playing field. We all started with 0 consultants and 0 customers. You know, the difference is the skills, and I go back to what all the only thing we knew is go to as many trainings as you can. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even look at that. I was like, this guy's crazy, you know, things like that. And then after all these years, and I'm like thinking, because I really go back and look at what works and what doesn't work. I'm talking about on a sometimes weekly, but at least monthly. Every month I'll go back and see what's working, what we tweak, what works better. You know, we're looking at ideas. We do brainstorming sessions. We do everything to figure out how we can improve in every section. We do tracking. We track how many invitations everyone's making, how many customers are coming in, how many one-on-ones they're doing, how many consultants, how many people are triggering a week. I mean, we get detailed. We treat it like a business, and we make lots of money, and we promote fast. But it's the skills. It's the difference. And the reason we have board meetings / trainings on a weekly basis is because we're sharpening our skills every single week after week after week after week. And the one that has the most skills is going to make the most money. You see what I'm saying? So we got, if you know that we're in the people business, you want to learn everything you possibly can about people. You want to read all the books. You want to study everything you can about people. You know, anything that you want to be the best at, you have to research and study that, and that's what we do, because that's the difference. It's not, you know, that someone, you know, is in this state and another one's in it. It don't matter where you're at. You know, it all boils down to, you know, to your skills and treating it seriously. Once you understand people, you understand that 90+% of them are employee minded, not business minded, employee minded. That's why we treat them like an employee. Because when we weren't treating them like an employee, they didn't do anything. Yeah. People want you to tell them what to do, just like you said earlier. That people want you to tell them, and if you don't tell them what to do, and you got to kind of treat them like a baby and tell them, look, this is what you need to do. Let's make your schedule. This is that. If you don't tell them what to do, they won't do it. You know, one thing when somebody joins our business, you know, that we teach is, look, you know, we have terminology that sounds like it's a job, but it's not. But we have terminology like, okay, we're going to have a board meeting. Well, what's a board meeting? We're basically meeting up for a training every week and going over what happened, but we call it a board meeting because they're employee-minded. And if you tell them you're having a training, they don't show up. But if you tell them you're having a mandatory board meeting every Monday, and if they don't show up, we kick them out, and we're not working with them no more, guess what? Everybody shows up. And they show up because they're employee-minded. And when a new consultant joins, we tell them we have a mandatory orientation this Friday. So anyone that joins during the week, we have a mandatory orientation on Friday. Oh, okay. Well, what time is it? 7:30. Guess what? They all show up. You know why they show up? Because we told them it was a mandatory orientation. They came. If I would have told them it was their Jumpstart training, they would have never came. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the little things that you tweak once you start to understand and you start to sharpen these skills that are going to give you a huge advantage, and you're gonna get better results. Because people have people that get in the business and then they quit. They don't answer the phone calls and stuff, and that's because their belief level isn't up yet. The way to get their belief level up is paid as fast as possible within 24 to 48 hours, and that's what. Whenever we have that mandatory orientation at the end of the week, that's what they're doing there. They're coming, and we're not teaching them how to get promoted. We're not teaching. What we're teaching them is, did you become a customer yet? And if they say no, we separate them, send them to another conference room where that person is going to tell them to become a customer or go home. And then the ones that stayed in the room, that raised their hand that they did become their own customer, we're going to show them how to make their list and call people and ask them to do them a favor so that they can get that other customer or two that they need, so they can trigger their check, and then they can go home. That's what we're training. We're not. There's no reason to waste your time showing people how you get to executive and national and how you work all your power zone if they haven't even got paid. Because if they didn't get paid, they ain't gonna call you no more anyways, and you're wasting your time. So we focus on what makes us money.
Yeah, and the good thing about that, the way you're doing it, is a nice shallow gradient. As you say, people are asking, well, how can I make this? How can I get to SC? How can I get to EC? Well, just one step at a time. Nice, simple, shallow gradient. Get that check in their hands as quickly as possible. I couldn't agree more. But let me ask you this: where are you based? Where are you usually based? I know you've got offices around the country, but where are you fundamentally based?
I'm in Houston. I'm just outside of Houston, but I'm in the Houston area.
All right, so you have a Houston office, and I know you have a couple of offices set up. I've been watching your growth on Facebook, and I'm excited for what you're doing. But let's say prior to having those offices and what you're doing, and you're having board meetings and this type of thing, you, my friend, have a massive team, right? And you have a massive team throughout the whole of the U.S. So the big buzzword in our business is duplication. Duplication as in the ability to repeat what you're doing. How do you create duplication with what you're doing? Because obviously locally people can show up to your offices. But what about someone who's in New York or in Pennsylvania or Massachusetts, all of which we have those people on our call? How do they duplicate what you're doing? How do they get involved with what you're doing? That type of thing.
Sure. And I'm so glad you asked that, because a lot of people, they just see one thing, the new thing, and they think that that's it. Oh, my God, these guys are all moving because they have offices. The office is just a tool. It's just an additional tool in your tool bag. We teach the same exact thing to everybody, and we don't always make them come to the office. We'll meet them wherever they want. We'll do a home presentation. I did several last week. We'll meet them at a Starbucks, whatever. The office is really for the people that are already consultants that need support. They need training. They need accountability partners. They need structure. They need somewhere to go build their business, and train. And that's really what it is, a training center. But like I said, these are employee-minded people. If I tell them we're going to a training center, they're not going to understand. But if I tell them, hey, this is our offices, you can come to the office, we're going to work with you, you know what I'm saying? Office, training center, it's the same thing. Everything we're doing is what we saw the top income earners doing. This has been years in the making. I mean, I didn't have offices. I just used my one room in my house, then eventually my garage. Anybody can do this. It's duplicatable. We send the videos. We do one-on-ones. We do home presentations. We invite people to go to the business presentations every week. They have to attend business meetings every week, business presentations. If not, we don't work with them. They got to attend at least once a week. So we do every single thing. We do three-way calls is the biggest thing for us. We're doing three-way calls all day long. Everybody, we all do three-way calls. We work as a team. We don't care whose team you're on. We just opened another office on the north side a few months ago, maybe 3-4 months ago. We have probably like 10 or 11 ECs participating. Only one of them is from my team. The other 9 or 10 are not even on our team. We don't care. I'm doing this to pay it forward to help other people, and that the office is just a place where we have to meet. where we can all meet. Because, I mean, where are you going to meet? I mean, if you have several people you're trying to work with and train, I mean, you got to have somewhere to go. And whenever I was looking at who's making money, I realized that Brian McClure, when I went to his power trip, the first time I went, it was in Dallas somewhere. And he had this big training center. He had offices where he let people, his consultants, have offices in there. He had a big, giant conference room. He had all these things. So I'm, like, remembering all this stuff. I'm like, okay, this guy's number one income earner. He must know what he's doing, right? Well, he has offices. You know what I'm saying? He has a training center location. He has people places where they can meet. He has conference rooms. He has all this. And I'm thinking, whenever I first went, I went to an office that Chris and Debbie had. So they had an office. They had little offices in there. They had their little, where they have the meetings. Then they eventually got the big training center that has like a separate room with a conference room and some desk. And then it has where you have the meetings. That's an office, So I was just kind of seeing the people that are being successful. They're treating it like a business, and they have to have somewhere where their team can come and meet once you start growing, So we just wanted to open it up and give more people somewhere to meet, When we opened Ohio, because a lot of people ask me, well, man, this guy probably travels the whole world, to build his business, and he's working like crazy hours and all this stuff. My wife and I got to national consultants in Houston. We never left. I had never opened another market, never gone to another state. We built everything just in Houston. Once we already were nationals, Yellow Jack, and all that, then the first state we ever went to was Ohio. And I went over there, hey, we're going to pay it forward. It's a new state. We're going to help new people. We're already at that position, right? When you become executive, AMBIT gives you an extra $1,000 a month, if you meet some criteria. So for traveling, right, it's supposed to be for building your business, opening new markets, nationally give you a little bit more. So I felt like, hey, that's something we need to do. But if you've ever tried to go open a new market where there's no meetings going on yet, or maybe one, and there's nowhere for people to meet, it's difficult. And people went over there to build their teams, and most of them died down and they left. And the teams that we built are still there, and they're bigger, and they have multiple meetings, like 3 a week in 3 different cities. And the reason I'm telling you that it stayed and it's strong is because we gave them somewhere to go. We gave them somewhere to build their business. We gave them a support structure, and that's kind of what you need. If you don't have a location where people can come to learn and train and have meetings and things, it's difficult for it to work. So I say that helped a lot, to be able to have it. We have an office in Columbus. We have an office in Worcester. We had another office, in Akron or somewhere over there that I didn't personally open, but it's someone on our team that's working out of there. So when you have places for people to meet on a weekly basis, they're going to stay, for the most part, involved and excited about the business, So we teach the same thing, 3-way calls. I couldn't have built it without sending the videos and doing 3-way calls and things like that.
And that's what I'm hearing is it's exciting that you're opening up all these offices, and I agree. And I know some of you on the call are thinking, wow, I'm going to have to travel to get to the offices in some cases. And yeah, absolutely. And if you want an office closer to you, then, team up with a few other people in your area and kind of get together. And if it can't be an office, make it a regular restaurant that you meet in, just to begin with, just at the very beginning, so you've got somewhere to go. I completely agree. But the one thing I'm hearing from you more than anything else is no matter, whether you're NC or whether you're opening offices up all over the country, as I'm hearing AMBIT system. I'm hearing, invitation, presentation, 3-way call, and the validation and getting people to make a decision and plugging them in to the same thing. That's all I'm hearing. I keep hearing you saying the same thing, AMBIT system. And again, I couldn't agree with you more. As long as you have, the system is absolutely perfect. If you have a daily method of operation to plug it into, you cannot fail. And fantastic.
And the thing about the offices and things is that all these people that are not on our team, how a lot of these offices, I'm telling you, like 80% of them are not on our team. But what we do is everyone that's involved in the programs that we're doing and the trainings, they all put their names and numbers in to do 3-way calls. And that makes it super, super huge because we're doing the system and exactly what Amba tells you to do, but now you have a whole army of people to help you build anywhere you're at. Before, it had 2 or 3 people that could do 3-way calls for you. Now, once everybody works together, we have 20 people, per place, per city where you're at or whatever, that anybody, that a new consultant could plug in. And now you have 20 people that could do 3-way calls from you, and most of them are executives, that are there to help you, and they don't care whose team you're on, and they're going to do 3-way calls all day for you. We do 3-way calls everywhere for everyone, because the truth is that sending the video and doing a 3-way call is the fastest way to build your business. It's the fastest because you can only do so many home presentations at a time. You can only bring so many people to the meetings, and sometimes, depending on where you live, your meeting might be an hour away, and there might just be one a week. Right. And if you wait to build your business one time a week, you're not gonna build it as fast as if you just send a video and get someone on a 3-way call. I mean, that's always the fastest way to build your business.
Perfectly put. I got to ask, we're at 9:53. I'm conscious of your time. I got to ask you about Canada. Obviously, we've seen you putting an office up there. What are your thoughts on the Canadian opportunity?
I love it. I think it's awesome that we were able to open Canada. I was excited about Japan, but I don't know Japanese. So I was really excited about Canada. I was a little more excited about that one, But I mean, my brother is doing Japan and all that. I didn't go, but when I heard that Canada was opening, I did get really excited, and I just think that I wanted to be able to help more people and make it more duplicatable. And I know that there was a lot of people that are going to be going to Canada to try to build the business. I try to discourage people, by the way, to go. So I'm not telling people to go to Canada. I tell everybody, hey, everybody thinks the grass is greener, on the other side. But I'm telling you, we get paid way more here in Texas than everywhere else. Sorry if you're from another state. But, if you're in another state, hey, you could build your business in that other state. You're going to make more money because you can be there for your people. I mean, just think about it. It's so hard to get to someone to do something here. When you can meet with them anytime you want, if they're in another country, it's going to make it even more difficult. So that's the first thing I always do, that disclaimer. I'm like, look, the reason I opened the office program over there and opened offices over there is for the people that were already going to go anyways. We had several executives that were going to go, people that are already financially stable and wanted to do that. And all I wanted to do is help them have more success, help everybody have more success. Because if you go to a new place and there's not a lot of, places to meet for trainings, and it's really a training center, / office training center, whatever. If you don't have somewhere for everybody to meet at and build your business, then it just makes it a little more difficult. It's never impossible. We're not saying that. It's just a tool, but it does help. It does help. We've had a lot of success. The first, week we went up there, brand new, don't really know anybody. We got 12 consultants, that week, and it was just a few of us. So, I think it's going to do really well. And I hear people say, negative things. Oh, they don't like people from the United States or things like that. Everybody's going to, if you're negative, you're going to say negative stuff. If you're positive, you're going to say positive stuff. But I mean, the reception we got, everybody loves us. Everybody's super nice. The cleanest country, the cleanest place, the nicest people. They actually, I tell them, yeah, we're from Texas. They're, oh, really? They're interested. Every single person that we talked to while we were there was very positive. I don't think we had one negative person, while we were there. So, I mean, we really love it. I think it's going to be a really, really good opportunity. You could build it from wherever you're at. You do not have to go to Canada. We have consultants that got consultants the first week over there. One from Ohio and one from California, one from Victoria, Texas, that sent some people over there. We met with them. They got in the business. So, it's I think it's a great opportunity, but just don't run over there. Don't just jump and run over there, because I'm telling you, it's hard to build a business just by going over there. You don't know anybody. Build it from here. Same thing everybody said about Japan. You know, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And that'll get you over there.
I think you nailed it when you said, you know, you've got to NC in your hometown. I mean, there's plenty of business right on your doorstep. I think, you know, you hear stories about, you know, EC Chad Crenshaw out in Japan. You've got like 600 people in a few months, and you think, oh my gosh, I should be doing that. Well, no, he worked really hard. He was really focused, and he is absolutely the exception. But he also has a business growing just as, you know, not just as well, but has a business that's growing here. The business is right on the doorstep. And I just wanted to touch on one thing about people who say negative things. I've always been in sales all my life. I mean, I try not to be a sales guy, but, you know, people would say to me, oh, you can't sell in July and August because everyone's on vacation. Oh, you can't sell at December because, you know, it's Christmas time and it's the holidays. And, you know, there are certain things, there are certain words. There's a word called a postulate. And a postulate is something that you say that becomes true. And the point is, I joined right at Christmas. The person who brought me in got an EC that's making them 4 figures a month from my business because they got me to join in December. You know, and so if you think, if just those negative Nellies out there that are saying those things, maybe it's true for them, but do not believe those negative things. It's just not true. The Canadian people are lovely. I think they still have the English Queen on their currency up there. So they get my vote. They're doing an awesome job up there. But again, these negative comments, just do not. First of all, don't be that person who's saying it, because it's only true because you say it's true. But also, if you're hearing that sort of thing, it's just not the case. You can make it whatever you want it to be. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on that because that kind of upsets me a little bit, you know, how people are just so quick to be negative, and it's just and one negative comment can take someone out of this business, which means that it could mean that their kids' college fund isn't paid from one negative comment. So I'm very passionate about that. But we're an hour into this, and I want to kind of give you the final word, Mark, and I really appreciate you again doing this call for us. But what are your speak to, there have been a couple of questions that have come in, and we don't have time to get to those, but I will answer the questions after the call, so I make sure I don't leave you guys out there. But Mark, as far as Ambit's future is concerned, and for those who are listening in right now who maybe their business isn't doing as well as they want it to, what do you have to say to those folks who aren't building quite as fast as they want, and what are your thoughts about Ambit's future? Where do you think Ambit's going to be going in the next 5 years, 10 years?
I'm super excited about Ambit. I think that it's just getting started. I mean, we haven't even seen anything yet. This is like, you know, they always talk about, you know, in the basement, you know, this, I mean, I'm telling you, we haven't seen anything yet. I've never been as excited about anything in my entire life, and I've owned several businesses. This is the biggest opportunity out there, guys, and it's hard. It's not easy. You're going to get discouraged. Things are going to happen. Some people go slower than other people, but I'm telling you, if you stick with it, you're going to see a lot of success, but you can't just stick with it. You know, a lot of people are like, well, slow and steady wins the race. You know, just keep doing what you're doing. If you keep doing what you're doing and you're not having success, you're going to continue to not have success. So when we do trainings and things, I tell people right up front, I said, look, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, because we care about you. We care about consultants. We want to help them. We want you to be better. If you took anything from what we've talked about tonight, it's about your skills. Get the training you need. Get the skills to become better at what you're doing. I feel like if I would have known what I know now, you know, back then, 6 years ago, you know, when I first got in the business, I would have been able to help a lot of people. And we're always thinking, well, I'm just waiting for that one rock star to join, you know, that one rock star to join. Yeah, every once in a while someone will just join that does it. But I always think back at all the ones that could have been rock stars that weren't and that didn't because of me, because I didn't have the skills at that time, you know, to show them what they needed to do to get them to build those leaders, because we build them, you know. How can it be that so many people keep getting all these great people? You know, there's people, oh, man, he just got one last month. The rock star, oh, he just got another one. He just got another. It's not coincidence. You know, get the trainings, ask for help, do whatever you got to do, but become better at your business, and you'll have better results, and that's the only way you're going to be able to grow your business. Take it seriously, guys. This is a huge, huge opportunity. It's life-changing for you and your family and your kids. We haven't seen anything yet. I mean, we're about to, and you're already here. You're already here. It's an awesome opportunity. Just don't let it pass you by.
I couldn't agree more. I'm not even going to try to add anything more to it because you just completely nailed it on the head. Mark, I so appreciate you getting on the call. Not one person has dropped. I've been watching the board, and that everybody who started on the call is still there, and if anything, it's been growing. So I think you've had some extremely riveting conversation. I asked people to give me feedback, and all the way through, I've got people saying amazing calls, so many good takeaways. You know, just people giving me the thumbs up about how valuable what you're saying has been for everybody. Thank you so much for sharing over an hour of your time with us. I really do appreciate it, my friend.
No problem. Thank you so much, Richard, for having me on the call. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, guys. Well, just a tiny, tiny bit of housekeeping. I'm going to make sure this call is, I'm going to try and get it edited tonight and onto the EC Riders Facebook page tonight, because I know a lot of you have asked me if this is being recorded, and yes, I'll get it edited and on the Facebook page for tomorrow, so you can make sure you can share it with your teams. Very important that you do that. This guy, as you heard on the call, he is the fastest guy to get to national consultant, and I think there's a pretty good reason why that is, and you've heard a bunch of those reasons on this call. So I will get it recorded for you to be able to share with your teams. And secondly, for those of you who are interested to get structure in your business, you are hearing Mark talking all about, the AMBIT system, learn your skills, et cetera, but let's get structure in your business. If you need some help with that, I do a call on Sunday nights. Every Sunday night, I work with a consultant where I basically help them plan their week. I help them put together their 10 invitations for 10 people they're going to speak to that week. That's the minimum number we want to get to. Some people will want to do more, but that's fine. But I work with one consultant and get their week set up for them, plan the whole thing, actually allocate time. And if you want to get on the call and duplicate what we're doing, then you can start your week with, instead of hey, I really need to do something with my AMBIT business, down to, I know what I'm doing with my AMBIT business this week. So if you want to plug into that call, please do so. It's called the Sunday Purge Call, and all the details are on the EC Riders Facebook page. If you want to get text, to be reminded of that, you can get onto the my automatic texts, and you can send the word. It's all one word, 3x4, spelled out, THREEBYFOUR, 3x4, and you send it to the number 94033. It sounds like a really, really short telephone number, and it kind of is. It's not the normal length of a telephone number, so some people think, well, that's not a proper number, but it is. You're sending the word 3x4, all one word, no spaces, to the number 94033, and that'll get you an automatic message from me reminding you about these calls on Wednesday night and about the call on Sunday night, the Purge Call, where I'll help you structure your week and plan your week. So, guys, thank you very, very much for getting on the call. Again, thank you, National Consultant Mark Guerra, for getting on the call. Very, very valuable. I really appreciate it. I'm going to take it off mute so you can say thank you and good night to Mark. Again, thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Thank
it was
you,
such
Mark.
a great call.
Great call, Mark.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Great call.
Great call. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you at the Clear Lake Center, Mark.
Awesome call, both. Thank you.
Thank you.